Today, joining me is what some people would consider a legend in the developing business.
Oh no.
This is very exciting for me. I don't know a lot about him, but I know enough to know he's interested. It's Bassam Issa. It's going to be great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. You're not originally from, you came here at what, 73?
I did,
For college?
yes, I did Chattanooga State, UTC. Then, of course, I came from Jerusalem. I'm originally a Palestinian and then became an American here. I was 19 years old.
What prompted you to come to Chattanooga versus just New York or somewhere?
Because it's a simple explanation. My brother came 2 years before I did, and my uncle came 3 years before he did. So when somebody knows somebody, and they end up being there, and it's a place is more economical to go to college here than you would somewhere else, right? So that's all. But I liked it. And I've been here, I think in December of this year, year, I'll be here 50 years in Chattanooga.
You're almost here as long as I am.
Yes, I know the streets of Chattanooga before and after right now, and I know all these areas. I've lived in through these years in Harrison and Red Bank and downtown Chattanooga and East Brainerd and Brainerd. So I've seen all these streets, and it's just I see Chattanooga developed over the years. I just fell in love with it, and it's been good.
What was it like being 19 years old and coming from Jerusalem to Chattanooga? Was that a shock, or was there much
scary? It's scary at the beginning. Yes, scary. It wasn't a shock per se because I knew here would be a great place to be, and as far as what's up here versus what's opportunity for me over there, but it's the fact that I had to get away from my immediate family, mother, father, and other friends. The first year I felt homesick so badly, but after a year, 2 years, this place grows on you. And right now it's the other way around. I go there. We have a home there. My parents' home. They passed away, but we go. It's like you would say you would have a place in Florida to go for summertime for 2-3 weeks and come back. This is my home. This is the home of my 3 boys, and they're not boys anymore. The youngest is 30 years old. So basically, this is where I am. If I go, I only have one vice, which is traveling to enjoy life while I'm working. And I can do that while I'm working. I can still go anywhere and do my work, but also 2 of my sons work with me and watch all the communications while I'm gone and do whatever needs to be done. But when I go 2 weeks, 3 weeks on a vacation, I and my wife, we can't wait to come back to Chattanooga. It seems like you go to great places, you go to South America, you go to Europe, you go everywhere else, but yet after 2-3 weeks, you feel homesick to come to the place you've got to be here or used to be here, lived here for the last 50 years. So
more familiar here.
It is just, it's your home. I mean, it's your home is really where your interest is, where your work is, where your immediate family is. And my immediate family now is my children. So basically,
the old saying, the home is where the heart is true.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been here all my life and don't get to Chattanooga, a whole lot, but quite a bit. I was there last night. In fact, I was there last night with George McCoy, who you know.
Sure, yeah.
He told me that you at one time made sandwiches.
Well, no, it's not one time made sandwiches. We've actually, when after college, during college to make a living, of course. I came here with $100 in my pocket, so I didn't come from a rich family. So I had to work my way, pay for apartment, for school fees, for living, whatever. So I worked. I've been blessed though. From the very first year when I came in, after a few months, I was able to work at a hotel, Reed House Hotel. And I had a great job. It wasn't hard at all. It was like the front desk where you would, it's to give rooms to the people. And the Reed House was the elite hotel at that time.
Yeah.
It was the only hotel that's of any value. It was, I think, owned by Provident Insurance.
So.
And but all the ones people come to that hotel, clients were, or they were basically business people. So I learned a lot as I'm interacting with them for 6 months to a year. Then I moved. I always wanted to better myself, so I moved to Holiday Inn, and then after that, I had an offer with another hotel downtown, 400-room hotel that where I had. It was a big jump at the time. Minimum wage was $1.90, and then they give you $2.25. Well, you think you're on top of the world, right?
Yeah. So, and then they take out of that.
Yeah, they do. But it was good money, better than today. $13. You could do more with it.
Much better.
Yes. Yeah, we had opportunity. Because I remember, I'll tell you a story. That when I worked there in these times, I had worked just 2 months in this third job, and I think this is blessing from God. It's always my way has been here. It's just opened up for me easily. I was a hard worker, but it's always also, it's not just hard work. Hard work gets you in the door, but you have to prove yourself. So the lady that was managing the resident manager of the hotel had to go back to Zaire's where she used to work. Zaire's, nobody knows.
I remember.
Now it's like Kmart at the time. And she gave 2 weeks notice. And just because I have agreed to work night shift twice a week, which was Friday night and Saturday night, so it will not affect my college, right? I have learned as night auditor reliever. So I relieved the night auditor, which balanced the books and whatever at night from 11 to 7 in the morning. Yeah. Because of that, out of the 14 employees that they were in the place for years, the general manager found nobody else to give him the job but me. Now, jumping from maximum at $1.90 or $2.25 of maybe about 100, it would be monthly, basically $360. Yeah. Overnight, now my it's a salary, it's not a wage. Yeah. And it's $725.
God, it's like double.
Yes, and then you have the the privileges of being a manager. Where if you get sick, you get paid. Well, it was the end of the top of the world for me. It's really great, and I worked harder at that. And then after that, I have worked 2.5 years there, and then I wanted something else. I never wanted to stay, even when it was mean to an end. It wasn't the career, right? Because it was college, right? So I still wanted something to learn more. So I moved to Shoney's Big Boy in the last 2 years of college. And as a manager there, they paid more. Now, instead of $7.25, it was $8.50. That's more money. But then I learned that business. I had learned the management in the hotel. Now I learned the food business. And they did a great program for managers at the time. Trained us so well, sent us to Memphis, pampered us in classes, everything else, put us in nicest hotels. So when I finished and got out, my mind started thinking of not going for engineering, working at TVA, or doing something else as a job, as a salary. I started thinking, because at the time, TVA were getting maybe 25 to 30,000 max for salary. Well, if you think I was just a manager here. What if I do business myself? So we opened restaurants, and now that I have experience, I and my brothers, we opened restaurants, which was the Glen Jean.
Glen Jean. I remember when they were on
Delhi.
Shelford Road, right?
Yes, but we actually bought 3 existing Glen Jean shops, which was only cold sandwiches.
And
it was
that's where,
egg salad,
and that's
tuna
where
salad.
George got
It was Broad Street. It was 7th Street. It's really history, and a lot of people that you might even, if you dig, you can find even the picture of these shops at the time. And they had certain color, white and red formica for decor. It was part of it. It's really, I mean, every time I go, it just keeps staying in my mind. But most of the people live downtown, ate there. It's a very quick sandwich, because by the time you pay, you get your sandwich, egg salad, tuna salad. The only hot sandwich was a hot dog. Oh. So anyway, but when we took it over from Bill Nobles, he was the county trustee at the time, and he owned them, but they were so behind and so much in debt. But he wasn't personally in debt. The corporation, because he has a corporation for that. So we bought the corporation from him as is, with the debts.
With the debts.
Yeah, that's it. Because
did you assume the debts?
We assumed the debts because the price was, I think, around $50,000 for these 3 places, and the debt was about $50,000. So we call it clean slate. So we did it that way, and we paid off the debt. And but immediately we started making changes. Immediately started having. We were the first one to introduce in the 70s the hoagie or bun and the deli sandwich, as what subs. With the subs that you would eat only in New York or big cities. And then we started with that, and we stayed with that, and we still own. I and my brother, and my nephews now, they've been running and still running the Glen Jeans in Chattanooga, 2 locations. We changed the name for one of them, which now it's Firebox, right on Shelford Road. And we've been doing that since 1978. So that in itself, again, it was a great experience for me to get me further out in what I'm trying to accomplish. So we were building a new store every day. We just never stop. Because if you just stop saying, satisfied, that's fine. It's a good thing. And you can, but if you want to advance, and if you want challenge, if your personality is that you don't want to just sit in one place and be content, but you want to see more, do more, that's what we did. So we were building, and we moved from downtown, we got Brainerd Road, and then on Brainerd Road at the time, Eastgate Mall was the mall, really, because there was no other mall. It was a great mall. It was actually one of the busiest, not the largest, but the busiest malls in the Southeast. So I had a hard time convincing the owners at the time to allow me to move the store into the mall. But they only allowed me the store on the outside of the mall, facing outside the parking lot. So after 2 years, I went to Mr. Uptain. He was running the mall at the time, and I said, "Look, you've seen we're doing well here, and you trust us now. I want you to take this dining room facing outside. I'll keep the same kitchen to save money, because that's where the cost usually is, and I want to direct this new dining room where the space that just left, which was Magnavox, there was just TVs, and it was a bigger one, from 1,200 square feet to 3,000 square feet, and we want to at least have it to the main entrance facing inside where most people come in." And sure enough, by making that change, we instead of doing $1,200 a day, we started doing $3,000 a day. So it's just, and it was a risk. He said, you might be making a mistake, because here you're paying only $1,000 a month. The next day you start paying $3,000 a month. You might not be able to make it. I said, well, let's just see. Just trust me. And he did. And
what made you think that you'd get more traffic? You just felt like you would?
Yeah, I just always had the eye of what, you see the traffic, where it's coming from, whatever, but you became, like I became part of the mall rather than being just an outside that just, if somebody comes on this side of the mall, can see you. So it really worked well. And then the reason I'm in this business today of developing, I believe, is this restaurant business, because the malls, they only give you a shell to build, and then you have to go and hire a contractor like yourself, and you get to be involved to save money on electrical, plumbing, and all that. And it's really very complicated, even in the smallest restaurant,
especially kitchens.
Right? Because I can build 100,000 square feet building if it's just for retail and it's just a box, and then nothing. And you know how it is in this. But in a restaurant, even the smaller the space, the more complicated how you fit in everything, and then you also need everything. You need complicated things to work together, the locations of every piece of equipment, whatever.
Your cost can actually go up per square foot.
Absolutely.
Because it's compact. You have the exact same thing.
Right, but we kind of, I learned construction because I was forced to it. Right? Because I have to build the store from the inside, which is the most important thing and the most complicated thing. And we had to build those time after time. Then we've moved also more stores. We ended up about 9-10 stores in 1990. We had come to Cleveland with 2 stores in the mall. We've gone to the Oak Ridge in the mall and Rome, Georgia. Crown Americans used to own these 3 malls. They built those 3 malls at the time, and we made a deal with them. So when you have that and you have to build time and time again, you get the feel for it. And then one day my architect says, "Wait a minute, you're building on these restaurants and all that, but why don't you think of building for others?" I said, "Okay, just give me more time." So I started buying land when the new mall came in, Hamilton Place. Started buying land in '86, speculating because the mall has come. So I'd buy 2-3 houses, put them together, and I would rezone them, and then I sell them. And I started doing that for 2-3 years, made good money. At that moment, I said, now, Pat Newhoff is my architect, so I said, now, Pat, I will do that, but what would you call me? He said, "We call you a developer." So I didn't even know. So because I'm not
you're
building
developing.
Yeah, I'm developing. I'm not the builder. I'm developer. I'm
Whether
just
it's the property or the building or the whatever.
Right. So, the weirdest thing was that's the thinking of a rookie. That's not smart. I would not do it today, right? But it worked.
You mean the developing?
No, just the location. The first location of where I would want to build and lease.
Right.
I would have never done what I've done on the first location. The first location was a doctor came from Fort Payne, Alabama, and said, "I want a franchise in Fort Payne. I love your food. I come every weekend." And so we did franchise to others in Cleveland and at one time in Oak Ridge. So I said, fine. So I went to look for the right locations. So I've told them where I needed to be for a small town like that. It's across from, the only location is either next to Walmart or across from Walmart, where the people are. So I told him to buy this location, 3 acres. It was a farmland across from Walmart, and it does have a traffic light too, which is important. And he started negotiating on that, and then he backed out. Didn't want to do it anymore. So I told my architect, wait a minute, we don't want to put a restaurant there, but what about let's do this first development, and I would lease to others, because which is, the 10,000 people is the most challenging to get tenants, right?
Yeah.
But I counted on the fact that Walmart followers, the Cato, the Shoe Show, all these people that were following Walmart.
And you assumed Walmart had done the demographics.
Yes,
you assume.
Exactly, because Walmart is so busy, the Walmart people would come. The challenge was that we're not next to Walmart like most developments where people walk to us. They still have to get out of their cars into their cars and come back to us across the street. And that was the challenge, trying to convince Dollar Tree, Cato, Radio Shack, and Blockbuster, and they weren't then, but Blockbuster or what is it? Hollywood Video.
Yeah, Hollywood Video.
And all the nationals, right?
That was in the 90s.
Yeah, that's in the 90s. So what I did, I didn't know how to approach these people. There was no internet. You have to send them stuff and packages in the mail. You don't know when they get there. And they wouldn't have cell phones, so they'll have to call me in the worst of times to discuss the project. And I remember something happened. I've always wanted to be involved in my business in the restaurant. So I would, even though if I have a manager, I still be in the kitchen looking at every meal coming out. My eye have seen it, whether it's on drive-through, whether it's inside. And that was in the location, the time, Glen Jean Deli, Shalford Road. It was freestanding that we built there. And on drive-through. So I was working the drive-through at middle lunchtime, and I get a call on the general, because that's the only phone we have, for orders or whatever. Yeah. And one of the young cashiers tells me, you got a call from somebody called Kenny Palmer. And I said, Kenny Palmer with Dollar Tree. Yeah, give me that. But I'm so busy at 12:30, whatever. Yeah. So I'm talking to him, and he's asking me questions about rent rate and arguing about, this is too high, this is whatever. And I have to talk to the kitchen, to the fry guy. So I'm screaming at the fry guy, say 3 fries on drive, and this guy say, wonder what the heck he's saying. And then I'll go back, say, no, $12 a square foot. And it was really, it was hard trying to do both at the same time. And because of also the technology was in there. But I met with Kenny Palmer at about 15, 20 years later we made the deal, and they came. So I met with him in Vegas in the shopping center convention. And he remember my name is you would remember it. Yeah. So as soon as he saw my name, he just started laughing, came and hugged me. And then we talked for a little bit. He said, what is that 3 fries for? He didn't ask me on the phone. So I had to tell him the story.
20 years later, he remembered.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, So that's what it was. So when I was able to lease at 28,000 square feet in a little town like that to national tenants for good rent and make good money, that opened up a lot of things. First of all, I had confidence. Well, if I can do it in this small town, then I can do it anywhere. Second, the banks opened up where they would now feel, if I can make it there, they'll give me money anywhere.
They had some confidence.
And
Plus you had some money.
The money really, we didn't have a whole lot of money. The only thing we were able to do, we created a little bit of money through flipping land. It was 2-3 years, right, on Gun Battle Road. Just for buying some houses, making them commercial like that.
But you're making quite a bit on that, because I remember that big rage. They were moving the houses.
Right. So what it is, we made money enough to buy the land where they would give us for construction of the, your regular 20%, 25%, you had to have that. Because if you don't have that, banks won't give you 100%. Yeah. But what the process of the whole thing was that something led to the other. The first one was learn how to be managing, dealing with people in a hotel. Then dealing with actual getting your hands, in the operation, which is the food and all that. Then using that vehicle of food forced me to do construction, to build my restaurants, that got me enough strength and knowledge to think of building for others and lease to them. And the good thing that sealed it up is that we were leasing from the malls, and the malls have leases this thick. So I'm on the tenant side, I'm the tenant, and I have to read those and know what goes into the lease and the complications. So when I started be the developer, am the one that giving leases. I know that now. So it's a process. So you just don't get successful overnight. It's hard work. It's wanting to do it, and just have the ambition to stay ahead and do new things, basically.
It took all of those things
Mm-hmm.
being involved in to make you successful at what you're
Correct.
doing now.
Yeah, and long years trying to do that.
Do you think you have a sort of a sixth sense for trends? What's trending?
I believe so. I can give you a good example of that. We started 10 years ago or 12 years ago doing things that, two things. One that other people are doing, but one that other people weren't doing, other developers were not doing. The one thing that we were doing, we realized the Walmart era, of expansion, Walmart era of expansion and all that, which we're feeding as our first stage of development,
Yeah.
following Walmart. And Walmart loved us because at the time, being a small developer, I can make decisions
Yeah.
daily, immediately, where other companies, they would have to go days before they make decisions with Walmart. And Walmart was first come, first served service. Basically, if they have an out parcel land in front of their Walmart, they want to sell it as soon as possible. So if somebody comes in, they didn't have preferred developers like some other companies. So if you come in and you show a site plan and it makes sense to them, they will sell you the land. But you have to be true with them. If you say in 3 months we're going to buy it, you buy it. If you don't buy it and you start asking extensions, they'll
done.
mark you up.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I have a great architect, very receptive. So when I approached the first time, approached Walmart, they asked me of these rules. I said, fine. I was able to make the site plan immediately, the same day, with my architect. I overnighted it to them. They liked it. I got under contract on that Fort Orthorpe in front of Walmart. That is right now still our shopping center there, where we have Starbucks now and AT&T and all that.
Yeah.
When I did that, Mike, the excess property for Walmart manager, he is a manager for that, he started reaching out to me first, immediately, because he knows that I can do it quick. So I was like, without being officially his preferred developer in this area, I didn't want to go anywhere too far away.
Yeah.
Dayton, Fort Orthorpe, Utua, all that. I'll do all that if they're opening any of their stores. I'll buy theirs. So with that, I went one time to Nashville, did one with them for Nashville. But other than that, that made me do what I needed to do. But then that dried up. When it dried up, and they quit building, so I saw that coming. Before that really dried up, I started saying, okay, let me just feed off the mall and start building on Gun Barrel, 153. And that's how we started, more a new thing. And that got us in a better and easier situation, because now with these two streets, Gun Barrel and one Highway 153 near the malls and where all the big boxes are, and 2 million square feet of commercial in each one of them, that's where all the big tenants want to be. And so they start reaching out to me to the point right now, I would say they all have brokers, national brokers, and mainly in Nashville. So most every national or regional tenant, they would like to go through basically brokers for each state. So they would put for Tennessee a location and reach out to these, like the shopping center group, which is one of many in Nashville. Those guys got to know me, and I can deliver. And also, if I don't have a location and they have a tenant wants to have a location on one of those two streets, they would call me and say, can you get us a land, buy land, do that and do that? And I would go and I do it in record time. So they don't call anybody else. They would call me first, unless I say I can't, and they come to me. So that brought what I need. Is the tenants always there for me? All I have to do is just find land.
Well, that's huge, isn't it?
That's the thing, but it's a process.
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't have, I mean, they didn't know me from Adam. at first. Those I was very unknown, with these brokers, but it's just the element here is that how to be true with people, honest, and also to be wanting to help them, and whatever you promise, you do, or even do a little bit more.
And fairly quick on the decision making,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. The smaller you, as a company,
Yeah.
the better off you are, because that way you don't have time to try to waste to try to do that. You can get the early bird gets the. Yeah.
Would you know? So you would know kind of what places or businesses are wanting to come in areas, sort of. That would be a big help, right? Because of the relationship with these national.
Sure, and that's the thing. And I was to have complete the idea. I said this. So the second thing I was doing, I learned to do 12 years ago, is I saw the trend that I noticed things that maybe other developers didn't notice. You build a shopping center with 4 or 5 or 7 or 8 tenants, right? Depending on the land. It's so easy to to lease the 2 end caps, the two corners, right?
Yeah.
And especially if you have a drive-through.
Drive-throughs.
Right. Then I find myself, it takes me a year, 2, 3 to lease the other spaces.
And when you do, they're not very successful.
And when you do, they're not successful because the national tenants or region will not come, which means you're not getting the bigger lease money. So you're forced to lease the middle ones for less money. And you have, people that may be coming for the first time to build a business. They may make money, they may not. Even if they have 2, 3 locations, they're just not as strong. They will not be daring to pay the rent as the ones on the corner. So you end up with less money, even though it's the same cost, and longer time to lease. And they will not agree to long-term leases, where the ones national would go 10 years, the other ones want 2, 3 years or 5 maximum. So you got all that disadvantage. Based on that,
plus this, if you're an A-rated tenant, they don't want to be in a shopping center with a C-rated tenant.
Correct.
So you got to keep the A's together and the B. So that even gets.
Yeah, that was all more challenging for me too. But it worked well because usually the ones that pay the most are going to be more of people that either have some experience, they have a location or two, and I feel comfortable they're going to make it, because it's not, to me, it's not just getting somebody in there.
Yeah.
Because if they fail and lose their money, I'm also failing, and I'm keep changing.
Yeah.
Tenants doesn't work. So, but I said, I'm going to get rid of that 12 years ago. I said, the trend is, if I have land and I want to build 15,000 square feet on it, for example, I don't want to do 6, 7 tenants with just one building. I would do whatever the land allows. If I can do 2 buildings or 3 buildings with 2 tenants each. So each building has each location has a corner, and 50% of that location has also a drive-through, which we saw the trend was all the retail. Basically, what we mean by retail is, your shoe shop, your clothing, all these other ones that used to lease from us, Radio Shack, all that, Hollywood Video, all these people are gone, and because of the internet, because of whatever else, so they can't afford even the rent. So basically, and cost has gone up every year. So basically, the only ones can afford, and the ones that are in the market, is really services and restaurants. You got
even the professionals that they're now, if they can't work out of their house, they'll be able to before long.
Correct.
So we can't count on that.
No, we can't count on that. So I was going after 3 people. The medical field, which now became wanting to be in shopping center instead of a back where you never see them.
Right.
They realized the importance of being up front, where people can see them. So they would before they would never pay. They just didn't want to pay much.
You mean in the shopping center or in front of it?
No, in the shopping center.
Okay, yeah.
To be part of the
Yeah.
of the two-tenant building.
Right. Oh, I see.
Or whatever.
I
Yeah.
see, yeah.
So they want, before they would be in office setting somewhere else with so many office complexes in the back, and they're not even on the road. They'd be behind
And
the
so
shopping center.
so many of their clients are needing elevators and needing to be on one level too.
Right, right. So it worked that we were helped first, especially with national medical groups, where they would come and rent, like the Aspen Dental, the Heartland Dental, the eye optometrist people, all that stuff, and even urgent cares. You know, all
Urgent
that.
cares
Yeah, so
became big.
they definitely would never go in the back. They want to be even more so on a corner and a hard, open corner where people seen, and more so than a restaurant. They feel strongly about that, and they're willing to pay for it. So 12 years ago, that's how I started saying, okay, I'm going to start building those just or two tenant buildings. That was reading what you said, reading ahead of
Yeah.
time of where the trend is going, right? So that was a big thing. But also, that's when I started thinking also, the ones that are going stronger are grocery stores, supermarkets. And I want to get into that. And that's how I got into that with the Publix and Trader Joe's and others.
And you did the one up here at Peerless
Yes.
Crossing, right?
Yes, yes. Did that. And then now we're building a larger shopping center, and it is 85,000. We're building 170,000 close to my home on Ottawa Ringo Road and East Brainerd Road, another Publix, and it's going to be a really very nice development, village-like public space, all that stuff. It's going to be really having all the services, restaurants, sit-down restaurants, fast food, bank, everything else. So we just have to get it to where start thinking of the bigger stuff, but you need to also have a vision of how you want to put it together. So we started buying the 20-acre, and now we bought the 50-acre to do this development. And that's just, it's just like a baby that you feed him and he's going to grow and have muscles. That's the way it goes. It just doesn't happen overnight, basically.
Will it just keep evolving?
It will keep evolving, and we will have to read ahead of time. Right now it even gotten worse with after the the COVID pandemic. For example, right now the sit-down restaurant never thought, the full service restaurants never thought of a pickup
Never
window.
thought of it.
But they realized that they wished if they had some, because they shut down the dining room for a while, then they had to do only half dining room because they couldn't do full because of there was the law. And then realized even people scared, so they because of the pandemic. So the people the last 3 years learned and got into the new habit of wanting to pick up even the nice dinner, nice steak, whatever else, fish, whatever else, and eat it at home. And they don't have to be in the dining room.
Right.
So when even the pandemic now has gone, mainly where people going back to the restaurants and not afraid of pandemic as much, they're busy inside, but they still, instead of maybe it was 1 or 2% of their sales, somebody would come and pick up the food and go. It became now 20 and 30%, and it will never go away. We have learned to, as Americans, to just come, and also we don't have just to come and eat a steak inside a restaurant. We can also pick it up by, especially technology, and you just go online and do it and just go pick it up. And it'd be so nice for that full sit-down restaurant to have a pickup, so the person does not have to park in the parking lot, get inside, get it, and get out. So
because they're trying to avoid people, or they're in a hurry, or they wouldn't be doing that.
That's correct.
So by having them come inside, you're almost defeating the purpose.
Exactly. So that is evolving thing. Starbucks, even, they always, for the last 30 years since they started, whatever, they were always stressing on the Starbucks culture. You go there, people sitting there enjoying themselves, and that's what they were telling the story, is that we're not, McDonald's does have the same iced coffees, whatever, but we're different. It's the atmosphere. It's the people. Even they have their own music. They'll have
That's
the
right.
music. They don't. Even they'll sell you the
Yeah.
music things there. And in the pandemic, realized they're in for the money, and they were using that philosophy to get more people.
Yeah.
But they realized that after the pandemic, that their drive-through picked up so well, they had trouble serving people because nobody comes inside,
Right.
and they really had trouble serving fast enough, right?
Yeah.
So they came back to the existing stores, and they said, we want to remodel those. They came back to us and said, we want to remodel those and take part of the dining room and give it to the kitchen, to widen the kitchen, to have more people and different way to be serving the drive-through faster. And now that culture is gone now. For them, even that idea of we want a bigger, the dining
Yeah.
room and want this nice atmosphere.
Even then,
it's no longer. Yeah,
And they were ahead of all the trends.
exactly. Even those guys that really stress so much on atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now it's about how to make sales, which that's always been the case. But they thought that was the vehicle, is the nicer dining room, the
Well, it
culture
was
and all
then.
that. Yeah, that was then. But now
Yeah.
people don't want to sit down there. They got used to it over 3 years to want that coffee and go, and they can drink it at and eat their car, in their car, or they take it home. And we have to read that as developers, and we started doing that, and we read even things that are going to come 6 years from now, whatever. I always keep thinking, what else is going to change? What is going to evolve in what I'm doing? And I need to go with it. We used to go after all the service people, like the wireless, Verizon, AT&T, Spectrum, and Xfinity, and all these people, right? T-Mobile. And I had my fun with them. I ended up with Gun Barrel. The Verizon is mine. The AT&T is mine. The Xfinity is mine. Spectrum right here is mine. And T-Mobile also here. So I did that. But what happened is those guys got saturated over 10, 15 years. And as a corporate, they're not expanding anymore. The only thing they could be just to do a relocation. And that's not too many of them. And based on that, now I'm losing that source. That we're not going to have much out of the wireless people anymore. They're downsizing. They used to have 5,000. They only want 2,300 now, 2,500 square feet, because they don't have as much market as they did before. Everybody already got what they need, but they just need.
There was a time when Verizon would pay more per foot to lease than anybody.
That's correct.
And now.
Yeah, they also found they paid too much over time. They're crazy. I mean, they paid.
But they had to have the great locations.
They did. But I took advantage of the times for any industry that wanted to lease in this market, and we did good. But we always read what's coming up, what's going to drop, what's going to increase, who's going better, who's going worse, and we adjust and get into these things way ahead, and we get help from the brokers, national brokers, of what things is going on, and we just try to see what's going on elsewhere.
The brokers will tell you what they're wanting, but it takes a sixth sense to know what they're going to be wanting.
Right. I mean, they don't know. All they know is that I've got a tenant for you. This is the tenant, and they want that many square feet, and they won't be on Gun Barrel Road. But it's your job to go and find the right property, because they're going to turn it down if it's not very visible, if it doesn't have a traffic light, if it doesn't have, easy access, if it doesn't have a lot of things. So, and if it's not laid out right, too.
Oh, yeah.
If it's, for example, I'll give you an example, the Bad Daddies and Mission Barbecue on Gun Barrel Road, where we are. Yeah. Well, that was a tough site because. And that's why I love what I'm doing. I say I can stay till I'm 95 and do it. It's just fun for me. Other people approached it for 5, 6, 7 years, and they would drop it. And they had it on contract, that piece, 2 acres. And the reason is the price was extremely high for the land. And at the time, I came in one day, and I said, look, to the owners, they're great people too, they're friends now. And I said, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to meet some people, and I think I have tenants for these, and you're tired of people taking it, under contract and dropping it back and giving it to you, and you want to retire. Yeah, we don't. Okay. You need to give me a full year to be able to, a contract of full year to be able to do what I need to do and take it from your hands. You never look back. Because every time, those 3-4 years, while they were having under contract with others, they would only say 60 days and 30 days to close. You can't do that in our work. And finally, because they got tired, they gave me that 1 year. But there were so many challenges. The biggest challenge is trying to convince the tenants to come when you're not on the corner. There's a corner there, but you're not on the corner. Very busy.
Traffic's going real fast right there.
So I started thinking that theory at that time, I am an architect, and we started thinking we want to get to a traffic light. So and that's where the development comes. It's not. So we had to go, and we found that the city has an alley behind us. It goes behind Lazy Boy, which that Lazy Boy was mine to begin with. That's the 4 or 5 houses that I put together in the 90s and
so you
sold
knew about
the Lazy Boy. Yeah. So we did that, and we ended up having that as being a paved road. The city loved it. It's a paved road instead of nothing in there. And then also that could lead in the future, if something happened, that alley could also lead all the way to Igo Gap Road eventually. For the city, because there's an alley on that side that then can do that. So that was a great thing for them. And we're going to pay, we're going to spend the money, not the city, all that. And that takes me to Goodwin Road, that's on the Walmart traffic light. So that's number one thing. And then number 2 is I have 10 feet, the property is 10 feet lower than the street. Nobody's going to come in a hole.
Nobody likes a hole.
Yeah, but that cost, aside from your regular site work, that cost at the time.
$6 a cubic yard.
It was 8, but it cost me $500,000 just to bring it up before I even do the other stuff, and that's on top of anything else.
Yeah.
And paying high price of $1.5 million was unheard of per acre. Yeah. I was able to do that. And in theory and all that, I said, okay, I'll do it. I have contract. Then I go back to the tenants and I say, okay, you got to pay me this because it's going to cost me this to do that. They think about it and they say, we want to be on Gunbarrow. We're willing to do that. So they would pay me $7, $8 more than the market is. If it's $32, they paid me $40. So I can pay for this. So it's a collaborative effort between me, tenants, and all. If you explain to somebody what your needs are and give them everything they need, you make a deal. You just basically have to explain. But if you tell them I want $40 when it's 32, don't tell them why, they say this guy's greedy.
Yeah.
Why is
and
he
that's
that?
probably the case if you don't have a reason.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's how how we do that. And so funny that traffic light that we got to, and it wasn't by design. It was me that caused it. There was no traffic light there. The Verizon where we have there on that corner in front of Walmart, that's mine. But at the time was no traffic light. We just got the traffic light at the time. But that was at the time we had, if you remember, Gateway Computers, where Jared's is.
Right.
Okay, that was mine. I bought that.
It's a nice looking building.
Yeah, I bought that, and we did that. I partnered with the Atrium owners out of North Carolina to, there was not a Starbucks there yet. Their entrance was where the Starbucks was. That's where their entrance.
They had to go down.
So that's what it was. And they had just green land next to where the Gateway property is. So I called them and said, look, how about if we make a road here? 10 feet of mine and 20 feet of yours, because I don't have land. You have a lot of land you don't even need. You already got your development out there. But we'll create you more land. We end up with a traffic light, which the Gateway insisted on having a traffic light. So I had to create a traffic light. So I basically developed that road that goes between Starbucks and that. And I went to the city and I told them we needed a traffic light here. They said, yeah, fine, go ahead and get it done. We'll allow you. I said, I'll pay for half of it. I and Steve from the atrium said, we'll pay for half of it. You pay half of it. They said, no, you do it. So I told Steve, said, now we have put that new road and we know this is a road that needs to have a traffic light. And you improved your entrance being across from Goodwin where nobody has, because he said they had a lot of traffic accidents, being one here and they don't know which one's going to go out first.
Yeah.
And he said, no, it's already been improved. It's fine. We don't have to do that. And 6 months later, the traffic engineer called me and said, yeah, the city will be willing to pay half of it. But at that time, I've sold the property after I developed it. I said, now you go do it yourselves. So the city had to put all the money and did the traffic light. So that's the traffic light that I ended up having the city alley to come to get to that. So it all worked out. It wasn't by design, but it was just it so happened to be that same traffic light.
There's some luck involved with that too,
some
right?
luck, yeah, some luck. Of course, also the owners of Atrium ended up having enough land now to do Starbucks. So they enjoyed that. So that thing. So everybody won, you know.
Are you getting ready to do another Panera, or is that
Where?
in Hickson?
No, the Panera, we have Panera.
Oh, you have the Panera.
We did the Panera 2-3 years ago.
And you leased up the, Northgate Mall, is that?
Yeah, we've, I bought the Firestone at the time from that big company, Simons. There's one of the biggest companies for malls. They only had JCPenney and that Firestone in Chattanooga. And they had it closed down, both of them, for 4 years. Didn't know what to do with them. Yeah. And I bought that from them and ended up having, on the Firestone, I ended up doing 2 buildings, like what I said, 2 tenants and 2 tenants. And then the third, because I had enough for 3, a third one I kept it as a ground lease for future tenant. And surely enough, last year we got a lease, ground lease where Miller Ale House, which is the sports bar, has come in and put that third building there. So we've got those. We've got Panera, we've got Buddy's Barbecue, we've got My iLab and Buff City Soap. But everybody's happy because everybody has a corner. 2 of them have a drive-through. Again, it's that same concept that we always talk about.
That's right. Yeah. Everybody wants a corner.
Exactly. Yeah.
And nobody likes to be down in a hole, I've noticed.
Yeah, because you're in the middle, nobody sees you. Yeah, that's exactly.
Now,
so I'm giving my secrets to people to go do it.
Well, they still got to go do it, and right there is where the idea is the easy part, right?
Exactly. So I've always told that to everybody, even other developers. Yeah. I give them that advice anyway. I don't think of other developers as being competitors. I actually have the greatest relationship with developers. There's plenty of land, there's plenty of tenants, and we can, cooperate on doing whatever it takes.
Have you noticed, if some of these places that have had old buildings vacant for a long time, there'll be some things come along, because these commercial buildings, they'll tear them down because they needed 6 more feet for the dining room. I mean, that means nothing to them.
That's correct.
But sometimes there'll be a business that will go inside of an existing commercial building that seems to work good.
Sure.
Like in Chattanooga, that old gas station I think it's a biscuit place.
Yeah, we had. There was a car wash on East Brainerd, and they used it as a drive-through. That line for that.
Genius.
And it's actually better because
it really
even if it rains, if it's hot, if it's whatever, they're in good shape. Yeah, that retrofitting building is a great thing. We did that on a larger scale. The old Kmart in Hickson. When it was out for 4 years, nobody could do anything with it because Sears owned.
Was still
Kmart at the time. They owned it at the time, and they wanted a ton of money for it. Nobody would touch it, and the dumb me, I always pay high price, so I agreed to it. I agreed to that price, but I only agreed to it for one reason at the time, because it was just a good timing. We just sold the property, and we needed that same kind of price for 1031 exchange. So paying more in having that tax relief for that
You can
moment.
give about 10% more.
Yeah, that's fine. So we did that, but of course I didn't even know. It was still a gamble because I didn't know if I can get people, because you got to remember, larger places. That's part of the trend that has changed altogether. If you have if you want to do a large place, then you really more or less need to have by demand. When somebody say, a grocery store, somebody say, go build me one,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you already have one, that building is useless, because anybody's going to come to you is a second generation tenant, that would only pay $5-6 if you can even find them, right? And that became actually, that pool became so shrunk that they were everywhere before. In the last 15 years, those buildings like Kmart and other things that got empty on these roads, and you can't do anything with them. And it's hard because there's not any larger space. Everybody wants small spaces.
Plus, if you decide you're going to make them into smaller and do the demising walls, it doesn't work with the bar joists, the heat and air. It's
not only that, but
chaos.
you've got a 300 feet deep Kmart.
Who
So
needs
you can
300
only
feet deep?
For smaller spaces, you can only go 80. So what's going to go with 25%? You can lease. What do you do with the rest of it? And it doesn't work for the price you paid for the land.
And I don't see anything like that ever coming back.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, it won't.
Except for
it won't. So basically, it was a challenge. It was a great challenge, but we were up to the challenge. I was able to, within 6 months, to get Gabe's clothing store.
Did they take the whole thing?
No, that's the thing. They only took 40%. 40, yeah, 40. It was 117,000. They only took 40,000 square feet. It's also challenging because their rent would not be high. None of them, even like the Marshalls and the in the mall, near the mall and all that, they have never paid more, high rent anyway, because they can't pay that kind of rent like a smaller restaurant or something. So I have to make the numbers work. But the issue was, now I have to do new electrical, so I have to rebuild the storage if it wasn't there. I mean, sewer. You have to have 4 services for sewer when you have 4 tenants instead of 1. You have to have 4 electrical, 4 everything else. You have to redo the whole parking lot. Was tore apart. Sprinkler system, all that stuff. It was very big challenging, and we put in a ton of money into it. But we went to the tenants and we stressed on certain rent, a little bit higher than they would usually pay. They agreed to it because they wanted to be in the market. And it came out to be a great, successful venture. And then we just sold it last summer and made good money. But it's just, sometimes we do things that people think that it is risky, but it's calculated risk. And we say, what's the worst going to happen?
And can I afford that?
Can I still make money, at least break even if I do that? Of course, the vehicle we had, and that one that made me take it, I knew I was going to be able to create an out parcel in the front to put Texas Roadhouse. That carried the issue, because once you put Texas Roadhouse, ground lease and everything else, that money coming from that, and still have the other place intact and do it slowly over 2 years, that expedited the money coming in. That expedited the importance of brought a lot of people to this parking lot,
the traffic,
to where others also said, okay, great, if it's Texas Roadhouse here, we can rent here. It's good.
Let me tell you about Capstar Bank. They're located in Nashville, Hendersonville, Gallatin, Athens, Madisonville, Sweetwater, Etowah, and in Cleveland at 950 25th Street and 3855 North Ocoee Street. I've used them. I like them. Give them a try. They're no problem.
The lots are really not big enough to have a secondary use, I don't think, are they?
No. But even if there was, who you're going to get. Again, it's
Who you going?
I'm not against local businesses. At least about in general about 10% of my shopping center go to local businesses. But usually the local business that we use is usually they have experience. They have opened another one, and I think that's so important for us and for the tenant is to know what they're getting into. I get so many tenants to call me on these developments, and they'd be first time, they like to open a restaurant, or they like to open a hair shop, or they like to open whatever. And the very first question, do you have another store? If they don't, I start telling them the rent. It's not that I reject them. I say, here's the rent, and here's what it takes, and here's how much you're going to have to spend to get into and open up. And you're going to have another 6 months or a year rent in your bank to make sure if your business is slow at the beginning, so you can survive. Once I explain to them, I start just the process as a friend. And I do that. I'd say almost 100% say, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a great experience that you tell us that. Some other one would just say, yeah, come on, rent it from me and whatever, and then they don't care about me. But this is great and eye-opening, and that's just, I want to make sure whoever gets in there, at least reasonably sure, that they are going to be successful. If they're not successful, it might be all, they might have the money bringing against their home, against whatever. They had everything they worked for, and then 6 months down the road or 2 months down after they opened, they find that they made a huge mistake. I don't want them to do that. It's not good for them. It's not good for me.
Do you generally get a personal guarantee for the lease, or do you let the corporation be the guarantee?
Corporations don't give personal guarantees.
So do you try to get one, or what do you do?
No, there's no way. You cannot even.
Sometimes.
They will not. If they're a respectable corporation, will never give you that, because if they have 1,000 store or 300, that's the biggest guarantee you need, because they can't get out of paying. If they got at least 10 years or whatever, they have to pay whether they made money or not. They have to pay you.
How come?
Because it's their bottom line is their corporation signed on it, not for that one store, for the entire store, for all the stores. So that's better than even a personal guarantee.
I guess so.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
And
saying?
they don't want the bad publicity.
Well, it's not bad. In court, they have to pay, so they will never go to court.
Oh.
They'll keep what they'll do. They'll stay and keep trying to make it work and make money till the lease is over. Then they won't renew, which is fine for me.
Yeah.
Or if they find, which is hard to find if it's a bigger tenant, but a smaller tenant, they can go and sublease. They have the right to sublease with my permission, though.
Yeah.
So they say, I'm going to get this restaurant or this guy to come instead of me, and I say, fine, but their corporation is still responsible till the end of the lease. So they sublease, and I get the money from them regardless. They get the money from the tenant there. So they're fine, I'm fine. That's what it, but if it's a 2, 3, or 5, or 10 restaurant or businesses, that's usually an individual, and I will ask for their personal guarantee on that one, because if I don't, they may be too careless, and they say, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just close it. And they just put it in an LLC.
Yeah.
And LLC is just basically it does not have any assets. So to protect them and protect me, I want them to be sure, fairly sure, based on their judgment of their business, that they can make it.
When you see these places that will go into, because what we need to start, what developers seems to me like, they need to be thinking about how to retrofit the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because going out and buying 50 acres and developing it there's a lot more expense in that than reworking an existing site if the traffic's still there.
Well, I'm going to tell you my experience, and I did both. Honestly, doing a new is a better thing than retrofitting. just even on the Kmart or anything else. The problem is to try to retrofit. And I've learned that even when I did the Glenjean here on 25th Street in 1997. We had an older building, and after I remodeled that, I wished if I had tore it down and built a new one. It cost me the same.
Did you buy that from Bruce Renner?
Can't remember who was, because at the time
through
a broker. It was through a broker.
You just renovated it.
Yeah,
instead of tearing it down.
We added a section.
Right. I remember
the front
that.
section. We
I
added
remember
the
that.
dining room section, but we used the back. I wished if we had tore everything down and built it, would have had a better, look building, and at the same time, it would have cost the same. Same thing every time we reach that. These walls and the foundation, it's not. It saves you $20, $30, $40 square foot.
Yeah.
But when your cost is $250 nowadays per square foot, it's not much saving, because if you tear it down and build a new, or go to a land and do it, it's you're doing exactly what you need. Not any more, not any less. What you need is size, everything else. But also, you're not running into unknowns when you remodel and all that, and you know what to do. But also, you have to have new electrical, new everything. The old stuff doesn't work, maybe out of
new
code.
codes.
All that stuff. So really, it's better to have a new to do that. And you used to think, okay, but it's already had a parking lot. You're not spend, other than the Kmart, which we use the same parking lot being there. Most of the time you have to tear down the parking lot and put a new one, because it's on its last leg anyway. And to try to fix it, it's never going to look right. You spend another $100,000, $200,000, it's still not right. So it's better just to go ahead and spend $500,000 and have a new one and go.
And plus, you got to change the public's perception of what's there.
Yeah, because when you have something new, it's better. But even the Kmart, I tell you what to do, because it was out of code in the sense that big ugly parking lot that they used to build, not having one island, not even one tree, all that stuff. Yeah. We were forced, even though retrofitting,
you have to cut it out.
The city forced us to do 22 islands in that parking lot.
And 22 pole eyes.
Yeah. And that ended up being like $200,000-$300,000. It's better to do it from the start and be done with it. So that's just,
So a new location is generally better.
It's better. If you have old and you have any value in it, only if you're leasing. If it's a warehouse and you're leasing for another warehouse guy, that's different. But even those now, they have different needs, different electrical, different everything else from business. There's nothing better than just having something you design rather than somebody or some thing that you have to work with. And as you remodeling, you find more stuff, and problems. It doesn't work that well.
Do you feel that there's always going to be something new around here? I mean, let's face it. Where else can we go in Chattanooga?
Right. That's a good question.
I mean, we redevelop some of the existing stuff, or do we go to Ooltewah? It's so hot now, I don't know if you can afford anything. Do you go out towards Charleston? Do you go out Georgetown Road? Do you go out 64 Highway? What do you do?
There's a simple answer to that. You have to follow the tenant need.
Okay, now with that said, I've heard, what is it? Rooftops, gas stations, restaurants, hotels. Is that the way it goes?
Yeah, right now, services, medical. Actually,
but I mean, what comes first? Traffic or houses?
No. You have to have two things. Is what they look at. They both have to be there: high traffic and houses, because demographics is most important to any tenant. So if you have a lot of homes, and you have on that road you are in, you're going to be having this piece of property, it has to be easy access and also have very high traffic. If you don't have high traffic, well, it goes well with that, because if you have a lot of homes, there's going to be a lot of traffic. If you don't have,
I guess traffic comes first.
yeah, traffic, but it can be traffic and you don't have homes. So there's a lot of areas that would have. You come on. You come to Brainerd Road.
Yeah.
Even there's a ton of businesses, right? But nationals, only maybe 2% of nationals would come to to Brainerd Road, because that's not their market. Their market is demographics, which means not just the amount of rooftops and people, but the income of these people. So some people, certain businesses, they would love Brainerd, of low income, and they thrive there. But most people, they want high income, and a lot of these people that have high income. And then the third thing is that if they're coming with 1 or 2 stores in the city, they're not going to come to the edges. They're going to come only to Gun Barrel or Highway 153, or a little bit may say, okay, I'll do North Shore or something. But so you really have to understand your business. You have to understand the business is knowing where the tenants want to be and which tenants you're talking about. I mean, there's some people that did nothing but Dollar General. And those people and those developers are doing great money, maybe maybe more than me. And they probably go across the country. I know of one that goes and he built maybe 30 and 40 and 50 a year across the country. He makes a ton of money. And in these little neighborhoods. And he's happy. For me, I don't want to ever sleep out of my house, not even one night, and based on going to business. I go a lot for my vacation with my wife, but I'm not going to go and leave my family and travel to another state. The most I would do is around 1 hour travel if I want to do business, and build something, so I can come back the same day and sleep in my house. For me, it's a hobby. It's not something I must do and suffer for it, or my family suffers. I just don't want to do that.
Maybe sewer's the first thing.
You have to You have to have all this stuff. Yeah, but see, the thing is, bottom line, if you follow the lead of the tenant is going to put you in an area where you have all utilities in place, close by, whatever, because they're looking for something already developed area that's already have a lot of people. They thrive off other businesses. They don't want to be the only ones in that area. Grocery does. Grocery looks, basically, they don't care about commercial. They may have one location.
Are they, the grocery stores, are they trending a little more urban, a little more out?
More
Slightly?
Yeah, suburban. Basically, they are
suburban.
They basically want to go where rooftops are.
Not rural, but suburban.
Yeah.
I guess there's
not
urban, suburban, and rural. So they want to go kind of suburban.
Not just suburban, where we have all these, and they want to see where the growth. They want already a ton of people, but also it's not settled there. There's still more growth to grow. Both. That's what the grocery wants. So you find most grocery stores, your traditional grocery stores, like the Publix, the Food City,
Red Food,
or Kroger, whatever.
Yeah.
They want to go where the people are, because within 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes for people to come and shop. Now they will always have a presence. Maybe try to be having 1 out of the 6 location to be either downtown or in a place like Gun Barrel, where things are
in the same town.
In the same town, because they do multiple. Usually, even a small town, you find them with 5, 6 locations. But first of all, they come before they even come on the urban or the where there's commercial, a lot of commercial, because a lot of commercial usually doesn't have a whole lot of like Gun Barrel doesn't have as many rooftops that's feeding the mall and everywhere else, really in East Brainerd or somewhere in Hickson for that further out. So they go to that area. They went to Hickson Park, so far away, because that's where the subdivisions are. They came here in East Brainerd before they came now to mine in East Brainerd, where all the subdivisions are. Now they came to me for a second location because my area grew. I bought it 7, 8 years ago. They didn't come then. They refused it. We see growth, but we have enough of it. When they had enough of it and still going even stronger than ever, they said, okay, we want to be here now. That's how they do it. But the general, most of the other tenants want to be by the mall or where there's 2 million square feet of where is Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, and all that, and all the other businesses. That's where they want to be in a bundle of people where people come already shop there. Restaurants want to be there. They don't want to be far off. They can't live off just a grocery store unless you make your own thing like what we're doing in our.
Which is more of
because we have 170,000 square feet with 20 different buildings, not just the grocery store, not just super. So we're going to have the retail, we're going to have the restaurants.
They call those sort of town centers.
That's right, yeah, and we create our own traffic and destination where people can come in from a neighborhood or 15 miles away.
We've got the Target Center over close to my house.
Yeah,
the Target Center, and that's.
Yeah, they
then
come in.
You got the Home Depot Center.
Right. They can do more than one thing. They just don't come to the
They can park and do these.
Exactly. They can go to their doctor. They can go to their coffee shop. They can go to their fitness. Like we'll have a 30,000 square foot fitness there. So you almost don't need anything. If you come there, you don't need to go anywhere else except for, some stuff that you don't need every day or every week to go some other place to get it. But you create that, group of people and tenants that feed most everybody's need. So it's one stop. You can do that.
Do you work out?
Yeah.
Every morning. You're in very good shape.
Well, thank you. And I'm old. I'm 68. I'll be 69.
Is that right?
Yes.
What's your workout routine like?
No, I'm not. I don't even go to the gym. I'm always out of the box kind of guy. It's just so I get up in the morning.
About what time?
About 5:30, 6 o'clock.
You set the alarm clock?
Yeah.
Or you just get up?
I get up, but I do set it up. And I pray. Being a Muslim, I have to pray before sunrise.
You have to?
Yeah, yes. We pray 5 times a day. Before sunrise, around noon, between 12 and 1.
That's interesting, your religion. I'd like to talk to you more about that.
Sure.
But tell me more of your exercise.
So I do core exercises, set-ups, push-ups for about an hour.
An hour?
An hour. Set-ups, push-ups, crunches.
Do you stretch?
Stretch first. The very first 10 minutes stretching before I do anything else. And then I stretch after.
Any yoga or just stretch?
Yeah, at the end.
Oh.
At the end, after I do that, to calm down, I do about 10 minutes of yoga kind of thing and close my eyes and rest and try to do just the normal stuff, just to cool off and get my mind ready to go.
So from 6 to 7, you're exercising?
Yeah. And
then, have you already prayed?
Yeah, I prayed first.
So you pray in the morning?
Right, yeah, I wash up because we have to wash up first and then
brush your teeth, that sort of thing.
Everything, yeah. I mean, your hands, your mouth, your nose, your head, and your ears, and your hands up to here and to here, and then your feet. Yeah, there's certain things you have to do before that, and then once I do all that, I go and do about 10 minutes before the yoga thing, or whatever. I do 10 minutes of light, just get on the bench and lightweight, just for my shoulders, whatever. So I do about 100, and I only put 15. I don't do for
it's
high.
Just repetition.
15 on each one, and I do like 100 times, lifting weight, and then I do it a different way, another 50. It's just a routine that I do, and I do it 7 days a week.
Have you done that for a long time?
Yeah, it's been years and years, at least 10, 15 years.
Does the routine change, or you pretty well do the same thing?
Pretty much the same, but I add stuff just so my muscles kind of get used to whatever. So I do more, like to make sure that if it's the same, if you reach the same, like if I'm doing 200 of something, I need to do 300 so I can get the muscles to be hurting
You gotta do
again.
something,
and
yeah.
To do something. So we do that. And then I do walk at least 3 times, 4 times a week, somewhere between 1.5 to 3 miles.
After your
Yeah,
workout?
in the afternoon.
Oh,
In the afternoon.
that's separate.
That's separate.
That's more of a,
That comes in where I would go, either I do it indoor if I were not going anywhere, and I do it because I have a big house and I can go, and I use the stairs as part of it. So to be hard, so I would go around inside the house.
so you
all
walk
around,
like inside the house,
in
like
the
you
house,
got
yeah.
a track in your house, sort of.
Yeah, and then I each time I get to, we have double stairs, so in the foyer, so I go up the stairs and go down. So I got 32 steps, and each time when you do that for 1.5 miles, you really have a lot. You actually, your feet
Yeah,
can
they'll
feel
feel
it because you're going on like
stairs will make you feel it.
yeah, every 1 minute you're coming up stairs again. Do that. So it just kind of keep me in shape and feel good. And sometimes, like when the weather is good, I and my wife, we just go downtown. We go to park at Whole Foods and go to Coolidge Park, get on the walking bridge and go have coffee. That's 1.5 miles, 2 miles. And then after we have coffee, we walk back. That's another 1.5 miles. So that's about 3 miles. It just and that my time allows, my business allows me to do that.
In the mornings when you work out, do you listen to music?
No, I don't want to listen to anything. I want quiet. I want what I'm doing, concentrate, but also I don't want my, to be thinking of anything else, just accept what I'm doing. And I think that relaxes me more than trying to listen to music or news or whatever. It's just, I
By
found
7:30, are you?
Yeah, actually, I take a shower and all that. So really, by 8 o'clock, I get to eat. I make my own food. I like to do my own. My wife cooks my dinner and all that, but I eat different things, certain things, healthy things in the morning. So I do that.
Like oatmeal?
No, not really. I make some of the hummus.
Hummus, yeah.
Or
hummus. I call it hummus.
Yeah, whatever. Or all of these things we've got stuff. Maybe sometimes 1 day a week only eggs. I'll do eggs, other boiled eggs, something. I don't eat them every day. So it's basically good. I'm not limiting myself to what I can eat. I eat a lot of different things, but I eat different things every day that are healthy and good. And then while I'm eating, that's when I sit in front of my TV or iPad, and then I listen to the news to see what's going on for that 30 minutes. And just
while you're eating?
While I'm eating.
Yeah.
Just and then about 9 o'clock,
out on the road.
No, I get to my computer. That's it.
You don't have an office somewhere? You just
it's in the house. I've always done everything I've done. I have 2 offices in the house. One that I say, and then I also one upstairs near the playroom. So I stay in that one, and my son also comes in with me and work for those 3-4 hours with me. I let him do all the bookkeeping, everything else, and then also he answers. We work on my 2 sons out of one email. So if I'm gone, they're watching my email. So they may answer. And the people think it's me.
I do the same thing. I get email replies, and I can watch it on my phone what they're replying that I said.
Right, exactly.
So I can know.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. So
they even get to where they're answering them like I would.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they want something, they can text me, call me, and I say, answer this way. Because sometimes I get a call and they don't know about it from a tenant or a broker, and then I say, okay, we'll do that. And they send an email, so they don't know what's about. So I tell them, I would just get that for them, or this or that or the other. So that's.
Now I have routines in the mornings, but if I get a call in the morning, or I get up, first thing I do is check my phone, and if something's leaking or something's broke or something, you can forget me working out. I'm out the door trying to solve it. How do you turn that off?
Okay. So first of all, I try to avoid looking at my phone till I finish exercise. Okay? That's a rule. Because I don't want to end up, if I'm exercising while I'm worried about something, it's not a good thing. especially, you're talking about 6 to 7. Even if you want to reach out to somebody, go get something done, they're not even,
Good
awake
point.
or something.
Good point.
So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
leave it till about 9 o'clock. I look at my emails or texts, and if somebody has a roof leak, I just text the roofer that takes care of all my
You kind of use the same roofer.
to do everything. And my contractor that does all the new stuff, he also, if I have something for the existing, I'll just text him or call him and say, would you go and get that done? For the paving, if a sign has been hit, like maybe a sign in the parking lot
And
where
leaning
somebody
over,
hit it
yeah.
and lean over, I just text the guy that fixes those, does the paving and all that. So I don't really, and I've done that when I was in Greece 2 years ago, or like 3 years ago, when I was in South America, even though, because most people don't email where my sons would see, they would text me. They know,
Right.
because I have my
know
first
it.
time basis.
Golly, that drives
Well,
me.
you have to tell your tenants your phone number too. So basically, I
Got to.
just, even if I'm there, I just text. I don't even tell my contractor or anybody else that I'm out of town. They think I'm even in town.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just text them.
Yeah.
Do this, do that, and they just go take care of it. And so I'm managing all my shopping centers, and yet it won't take more than a minute or two a day from me. Sometimes nothing, because we only get that kind of call maybe once every 3 weeks, a month, if it rained hard or something. So even the management part is so easy. It's just, we did it in a way that it's truly a hobby, that I don't have the anxiety of everyday business.
How about 09?
About what?
2009.
Yeah.
Was it tough?
No, not to me. It was tough for a lot of people. 2009, we had 100% leased properties at that moment when that happened. So, and all these tenants were national or regional, so they paid their rent. I wasn't worried. They could make it. They can't get out of it unless they shut down as a 1,000 store, whatever. So nobody luckily shut down from the tenants that I had. So basically, it was business as usual. And I was the only one in 2009 that I know of in Chattanooga that went and bought land, and the bank agreed at that time, because the banks were on lending at that time. They kind of shut down. And I know that at the time it was Gateway Bank, which is First Volunteer right now. They're the main bank. I use five banks, but there's the one that I started with, and I still use them for like 50-60% of the time. And I told them I want this property. I didn't even have tenants for it, which is crazy. They gave me the money in 2009 on a property that's just land. That's how normal things was for me. And then within 6 months, I found Aspen Dental, Suntan City, and other tenants, and I filled it up in Hickson and made good money, as there was no problem. It was good, everything. So I didn't really have it. And then actually, because of that, I had Northwest Georgia Bank reached out to me that year and said,
they were having trouble,
they had a property here, which is the public's property now. It was repossessed from another developer.
Toby?
McKinsey, yes.
Yeah.
So, and they wanted to sell it for almost the same price, which it's hard, because
he
it
was
very
starting
hard
to develop that.
Yeah.
He was starting to
It was a hard.
Yeah.
It was there was a big number on it.
Yeah.
That he bought it, so they didn't want to lose that. So, at the time, I actually used to only do small properties. I'm not gonna, I wasn't taking 14 acres. I was taking 2 acres, and I do a strip center or something like that. And they came to me, and I was the last they ever reached to me. They went to every developer just about in town, even though I have put them in another location. Not only put them in another location in town, but also put their prototype of how they should look with my architect on Shalaford Road when I bought 5 acres from Home Depot.
Yeah.
And I convinced them to come in that location. And it was a great location, still is. Of course, they got bought by another company. But at the time, they for some reason forgot about me to call me to see if I wanted it. And when they went, so many people, they said, no, it's bad time. We can't do that. The last one they called was Larry Armour.
Larry.
And Larry Armour said, call Sam. Call Bassam. And he's the one that led them to call me. We have a great relationship behind Larry.
I think Larry was friends with Toby during that time too.
Right, but he also he knew the bank and they needed so basically I bought 2-3 properties from being developers, both of us, but I still bought 2-3 properties from Larry. I'll buy some more too.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
Yeah.
So but anyway, so they came and said, why didn't we think of you? So I sat down with them, and we made. I put my conditions because I didn't want. I'm not. I take risk, but I'm not going to be stupid. So I accepted their price, which was a great thing for them. They would show that they haven't lost anything on this property to the feds and all that. So that was great. But mine was at the time. It's a deal that I would never get from any bank or anything else. I mean, it was. But at the time, I didn't have to take it.
Yeah, and they had to sell it.
Yeah, they had. So I at the time I said, okay. First of all, I would only buy the good ones, the front pieces, the 4 acres out of the 14, and I'll pay you half of what you want for those. Okay, because they're the valuable ones.
Yeah.
And you give me a full year for that. 6 months. Free look, and I can walk away if I think I can get tenants or whatever. They agreed to that. So put under contract based on that. I said also, the rest of the property you can't sell it to anybody else for 2 years. I'm going to have a contract on it for 2 years, so I'll give me enough to do the front, then I'll buy the rest of it.
So it had to stay vacant, I guess, right?
It was like it's under contract, right? They agreed to that. Well, they figured if I'm going to do the first one, I'm going to take the rest of it. That's not a big deal. But and if I fail, I fail. Then they got nothing to lose at this time. They needed something started because they went to everybody else. Nobody would take it. And I said, okay, then I want this debt to be non-recourse. I'm not responsible for the debt. I'll do an LLC. And if for some reason I get deeper into it, and I couldn't find tenants, whatever, I don't want to be carrying that debt. So
they did a non-recourse.
And that they would not, banks will not do non-recourse, but they had to do it. At that time, they agreed to that. And then the third thing is that the interest, when I buy in 6 months, only going to be 1%. I'm not going to pay more than 1%. They said that's hard. Even the feds will not even allow it. I said, well, I'm not buying it. So they went and figured out internally, I don't know, whatever, and they gave me the 1%. With that, I went in with zero risk. But they were the winners for it. Within 6 months, I was able to get Buffalo Wild Wing, Starbucks, and all that, and I put that first shopping center. Yeah, I got
once you had those two, you could
so I filled up the rest of it.
Deal with it.
So then I said, okay, there was actually, I had a tough situation because I had, Publix has already signed a lease. There was actually a lease signed with another developer out of Atlanta. So I can't go to Publix. When I went to Publix, said, come with me, said, we already have a lease, we can't, we get in trouble.
Yeah. You
have to make a deal with the current guys. And that guy, he had a lease on it because he has a contract with Toby at the time to buy it. And they backed out of that, thinking it was too high and the bank now is in trouble, they could give it to him for half price. I came in and they lost that chance. So I was nice. I said, look, guys, you can have your 7 acres in the back because I needed them. If I get the Publix, I can lease more quicker, right? And I gave them very, really reasonable price. I recall I gave them $900 thousand for that, which is really a ridiculous price. But they figured the math and they said, no, it doesn't work. You got to give us cheaper. And said, well, I don't need you. So I went and put the front part and put these tenants in the front. And I said, I don't have to buy the back. Or if I do, I can put offices, whatever. Yeah, no problem. And then I came back before I started subdividing the back for offices, whatever. I said, look, now or never. He said, okay, we'll buy it for what you said. I said, no, that's a year later. I'm already successful here. You got to pay double. But still, that double make your numbers work. They ran the numbers and said, no, it doesn't, because the site work costs $2 million and it's not going to work. I said, let me figure out the site cost for you and send you that. So I used my Excel sheet, sent it to them. It showed to be $1 million. They said, you don't know anything. We built 17 publics. You only built small stuff. You don't know that this, you say 1 million. That's not true. It's 2 million. I said, okay, fine. Let's not argue. Hand me the lease. I'll pay you. And I paid them, I think, $350,000 for the lease to hand it. And Publix was so happy. And I developed the Publix based on that. But when the numbers came, my site work was $995,000, was 5,000 less than the 1 million, and because they were aware of what I was doing, because I made them stay the first part so I can get to know Publix, and Publix be at ease with me. So they were so upset because they wished if they would have accepted my deal, and. So that's how the story was with that, and we ended up doing something good on there.
And you had some other stuff with Publix, right?
And after that, we started doing things, and my relations with Publix is fantastic. So they like me as a landlord, I like them as tenants. They're great tenants, and and we're doing this one here in Ottawa, East Brainerd.
Yeah,
it's a great tenant, and then we start doing other grocery stores like Trader Joe's and. Talking to 2 others right now.
You ever sell them on triple net leases to other people with a high cap rate and all that stuff, or do you just try to keep them?
No, we sell. I used to just sell 10%, but the last 3-4 years we started selling about 50% of what we do because the cap rate is good. Cap rates is really great. Yeah. Now the cap rates are still great, but they kind of moved up about 50 basis. So
cap rates go down as interest goes up, right? Would you say?
It depends what you say by go down. Like if you have like a year ago before interest rate went up, if something was at 4.5% return, we call 4% cap rate. When you sell to somebody, they're getting basically rent equal to 4.5% on their. Now because of interest rate, it became 5 and 5.25%, because you have their money to borrow from the bank is more, it costs them more. Mm-hmm. So you have to give them more return. So it becomes 5.25% instead of 4.5%. Before they would, because before they would rent or borrow the money to buy from you at 3.5%. Now they're buying at 7.5%, 8%. So you have to give up some, which means you're selling it for cheaper.
It's almost you could say it's an investor's market.
Yeah, right
in a sense.
Yeah, right now it's basically investor's market or buyer's market. Yeah. But it is, for me, I still force the rules to be, it's my market as a developer. Why? Because I don't need to sell. Mm-hmm. So I just put it out there for whatever. I kind of stuck with the same a year ago prices, cap rate, and say, take it or leave it. If they ever buy it, if I find a buyer, fine. If I don't, I just keep it and enjoy the rent. And I sold 2-3 properties like that. Because always somebody, even at this rate, for whatever reason, they would still, all you need is one buyer for that one, and they would come and buy, even at this aggressive lower rates, simply because there's 2 reasons for it. One would be because they sold something and they want to shelter their money. So at that time, it doesn't matter. They have, if it's a good asset, which we always have, AAA kind of assets that we do, long leases, great tenants, everything. So they will forego, what's the market is, and they will pay that extra. The second one is, if they have cash and it's a ground lease, and they just can pay cash for it, and they want something nice, they would pay for it, and they would come to me for a property like the Cheddars, for example, because it's a great asset. It's in their hometown. They can touch it every day. They can eat in it, and it's there. If they weren't to go and get something maybe with a little bit more cap rate for them, and a little bit, buy a little bit cheaper, it's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, it's just a little bit. We're not saying a whole lot. I mean, a $200,000 on a $5 million is not a whole lot of difference of what I'm asking versus that. If it's somewhere in, up north, that location, the same Cheddars, I would do the same as they would do. I would buy the one here and pay the extra $200,000. It's right here, and I know the location, everything else. Then have something that I have to travel to Chicago or travel Midwest, whatever else to, and I can't do that, but every 5 years. And so it seems mixed. It's win-win.
You're also familiar with, if they moved out, the things you could do with it. It'd be hard to do that.
Exactly, yeah, because you know exactly your market, you know what it is. And so, and also I've had it to where they get advantage if I'm still alive. If somebody ever moves out, I can help them lease it.
Right.
That happened in Hickson, where somebody, after I sold the property, one tenant left after a year. He has 10 years lease, but they went out of business. It was a 30, 40 store tenants, really strong tenant. But it was one of two tenants. So, and he called me and said they're going out of business, whatever. I said, don't worry. I was having a tenant across the street that I wanted building for in the Panera Center at the time. I handed them my tenant. Didn't make any money. I convinced the other tenant, said it's just as good location, and actually negotiated the lease for them and made them $3 more per square foot than what they were
Just
from
sort
the
of
tenant
out
before.
of courtesy, or
No, just that's what I do.
Yeah,
Yeah, as of courtesy.
yeah.
But that owner, that buyer, he swears by me. I mean, they just see he would buy from me again if he ever decided to buy anything else.
You'll get paid later, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. But I look for it is that I didn't do anything wrong when I sold it to him. I didn't know those guys were going to go out, but he needed it, and I knew I can get somebody else on mine, and I had plenty of time because I was about to build for these other guys. I said, well, you got something ready here. Come on here. And it was actually, somebody that was not as important. We got Sleep Number for them instead of some kind of whatever, which is a big national, and they pay more, better, and they would last longer. So I got them a better tenant, a national versus a regional. So.
On the Courthouse Square at 30 2nd Street is the law firm of Logan Thompson Law. Since 1965, they have served the legal needs for the good citizens of Cleveland Bradley County. If you've got a problem, they're no problem. Give them a call.
Let's go back to your Muhammad. You say, are you Muslim?
Yeah, Muslim.
That's
Can you say Muslim?
Muslim.
Yeah, from Islam, yes.
Muslim.
Muslim, yeah. Yes, sir.
They still believe in God just like I do, right?
That's correct. Actually, the whole thing is about God. It's not about Muhammad.
Right. So you call him God. I call him God. You call him Allah, right?
Yes,
Same one.
Allah is in Arabic is God. Is
Same,
God.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's make it simple. He's the creator.
Right.
You pray for the creator. I pray for the creator of this earth and heavens and skies and the universe, right? So that's basically that's my motivation. Of all religions have, they tell you to be good, to be honest, to treat others right, and to do good for yourself and your family. And that's basically just like any other, whether it's a Christian or a Jew or anybody else. I do what I believe in. But also, more than the religion part, is just as I always look at us being human beings. And the human being as a human being is you've got this, what we call the soul, which you probably do the same.
call the same.
That soul. Okay, the soul is, we believe in in our Quran, which is, you have the Bible.
Yeah, right.
It tells us in the Quran that actually the souls of every one of us, the entire, human beings, the souls were created by God before he created Adam. Before he actually created the souls of everyone from day one, from the day of Adam, which Adam came just after he created those, till the day of judgment, even the ones that have. And the way the souls is, it's composed of two souls merged into one. He created first the one soul, which knows right from wrong. It's your conscious. It's the one everybody has. That's the basic one everybody has. Even the criminal has it, and they know when they do wrong. Okay, and then he gave the one. He created the soul, the individual soul for each one of us. For you, your own soul, that deals with your identity, your me. When you say me, it's you, and for me, it's me. That is, that's the one that always wants and always, see all the things and want it. But your other one, now they're all in one. It made a merge for each one of us from day one, before we even came, before he even created the earth and this, this universe that we have to do what, the test for it. So when he created those souls, the two souls, one is the individual one for each one, differential from others, and then the one that's the basic one that guides you for what's right or what's wrong. And with those two souls, so you have, your soul is made of two, is that one, same thing with mine, everybody else. And he asked the two souls at the time, and we don't remember, of course, because it's out of this time and place. So that's at the time. That's the way the Quran says. Ask, do you have the choice? Do you want to have the choice to do right without me? Like you have the freedom of choice to do right or wrong? Or do you want to be like the angels? Just do always. They don't have, the angels do not have the right to do right or wrong. They're always going to do right.
Like Gabriel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They always have that. That's because that's what they chose. And also any other, even in the Quran say, even we ask the skies, we ask the earth, we ask even this at the time, that he created the same right after, he created the souls. And he said, okay, now I created this. But he did not ask us as souls. He just asked, do you want to do that or not? And in the Quran it says, only these souls, the soul which end up being in Adam all the way through us and whoever comes after us, decided, said, yes, we are so sure we're going to do the right thing if you give us the choice. Give us a choice. So God said, okay, I'll give you a choice. And he gave us the choice. But what little we knew as souls is that he created, at that moment, in the Quran said, he created Adam and as a body. And when he created Adam as a body, he put the soul, his soul, Adam's soul, that one soul for Adam, out of all these other souls, and say, okay, and of course Eve, and then said, okay, now we're going to put you on earth after they did what they did, when he temporary. But the grand plan is to put us in this. That was just a stage for knowing that we're always going to do right and wrong. So when we did the one wrong, or Adam did and Eve, he put us on earth for that, to test us how we're going to deal with this. We called it in the Quran amana. Amana means it's the trust. So he gave you the trust that you're going to do that of course, we don't remember. Our souls don't remember that what happened between us and these souls. Every soul at the time. We don't remember that because it's a different situation. If we had remembered, if we remembered that between us and God, we would not do wrong.
No.
There wouldn't be a test.
No.
Right? It wouldn't be a test. So he gave us that, but he also sent us all these, over time, all these prophets and everything to keep reminding us of what's right and what's wrong, which is the religions we're talking about, okay? All these religions. And in Quran, we believe all the religions came from one God, same God. It's not different gods. So he sent, at different times, he sent, Moses, the ones before him, and all that stuff, and
Abraham.
Abraham and Isaac and all that. And of course, based on that, we had different books, but really the same message. So it's the same religion, but different faiths, basically.
So you have the same story of Moses and Abraham.
The same thing with minor differences in the story. The Quran put up a beautiful, angel-like story about every prophet of the 27 prophets. That basically they are in the Bible or the Torah. Okay, but he gave.
So the Torah has that same same.
Yeah, except the stories that you have in the Bible or the Torah told about those prophets as they were, basically good and bad and all that stuff, what they've done and all that. In the Quran, they kind of took it a different way, and that just made them like angel thing, like they could never do wrong. The reason we believe God did that when he came 1500 years ago to Muhammad as one of the prophets. He's no special, just like any prophet. Of course, to us he's special because he's came to us, right? But he's, as far as to God, he's just the same, messenger for the same message. So he gave us this message, like he gave the others got the message, and he wanted to show us as Muslims that all these prophets are so good to be role models. If we were to say that, like for Moses, he killed somebody when he was 17, 18 in Egypt by just, he did kill somebody. That person didn't do anything to him. He just did it because that person was fighting another person of the same kind, which was a Jew at the time, like Moses. So to help his friend or relative or whatever, he killed that person.
That may be I don't remember that in the Bible. Maybe it's in the Quran.
It's in the Quran, but how he put it, the Quran made it how Moses was so sorry about that, and he repented and all that, and then God forgave him, and then he sent him to the Pharaoh and told him to know where God is, and as a messenger and all that. But the same stories. So that's an example. But for example, Isaac, the Quran never said anything about Jacob, for example. They never said anything negative about Jacob. It's all about how pure Jacob was. Where the Torah, according to the rabbi that I do a lot of multi-faith and interfaith, and I understand it from the rabbis that how Jacob was able to get the status from his father.
Bowl of lentils.
Yeah, basically it was like got it through his brother by feeding his brother, and kind of traded with him. So for us that did not come because we would look at it as a negative thing, that he just got it by a trick, for example, or something like that, right? So it didn't show that. It just showed that these people came with a great message. The Quran also talked of Jesus as so special to God, more special even, he's still a prophet. And he's
Y'all
not.
believe he's a
He's
prophet
not. He's not a son
rather
of God.
than a
He's,
son of
yeah,
God.
yeah, that's right. He's a prophet, but we still believe that not Muhammad is going to come back before the day of judgment. Jesus will. We still, the Quran says Jesus will, just like you do.
Just like I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not that he's the son of God, just that he was a prophet.
Exactly, that he was prophet, but also we don't have any differences in the sense how way he was born. The Quran says that he born without, not the way you and I were.
Yeah.
God.
Born of a virgin.
Yeah, born of a virgin. And it does say, there's a verse say, Jesus was made out of the same as Adam was. The same, which is out of clay and whatever. So he's not coming from chromosomes and, genes and whatever like you and I. Because he didn't have male and female, the way it does. He came. So the Quran states that way.
So
Have you ever? I'm going to tell you something. Have you ever? We both believe in Jesus coming back, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the Quran has 30-something verses about Jesus, and every one is so wonderful. It describes him as the closest to God than any other prophets. The ruh Allah. Ruh means it's just, it's not the exact soul, but it's, we define ruh in the Quran as being how much the person, in this case Jesus, has closeness.
The relation.
And closeness to God and the powers that he gave him, or the help that he gave him, to the point that he allowed him to bring life to the dead. Because in the Quran says that he was able to do that.
So the Quran speaks of that too.
Yes,
just like
but it's saying with the help of Allah. It's with the idhn of Allah, which means with the permission of Allah, with the ruh of Allah. It's a thing. So basically, if you look at the whole thing, the message is the same. There is a difference, a huge difference, simply in the sense that Christianity, they have to believe that he died for the sins. Otherwise, it would not be Christianity. That Jesus died for the sins. Otherwise, you would
followers
be
of Christ.
Yeah.
Do y'all believe he was sacrificed for our sins?
No, we believe that Jesus, the process of crucifixion happened. But and it's not what I believe, it's what the Quran believes. I'm telling you what the Quran believes. So the Quran states that Jesus was put on the cross. Of course, for a long, long time, Muslims, even to the recent century, here in the last 50 years, they said no, it wasn't Jesus that was put on the cross. It was somebody that looked like Jesus with the help of God. Okay, but Jesus was so loved by God that he would not make him be put on the cross, and he took him up alive, and he will come back. Yeah, okay, but when they looked more into the details of the verses on that, it became because we can't deny physically and historically that he was put on the cross. So when they look deeper into the verse and the exact words, it says he was not killed or crucified. And that's where the confusion is. To explain in the Quran that somebody was crucified, it's not that he didn't get put on the cross. That's not an issue. He was put on the cross. Was he put on the cross until he died or not, or he was taken down before he died and he didn't die? So was he killed, basically? Bottom line, crucified on the cross, being died on the way of the cross. Okay, so basically that's the difference, and that reconciled at least between the history of what happened actually. For me, I feel that more of acceptable to me than if it was to say, Well, no, he was never put on the cross.
I see.
Does that make sense? Yeah, because he was put on the cross. But I do believe also the Quran describes that when they got him down from the cross, they were in doubt, was he dead or was he not? And I think the history says that they were at war, and they had, I think, put what is it that they put in to check him out?
To make sure.
The arrow or something like that.
Water and vinegar.
That's right, and the arrow, I guess, in his side and all that, and he didn't react. So, and we believe that he was risen to the sky by God, and he would come back. But did you ever ask yourself, if Jesus comes back, how do we know it's Jesus, not somebody fake that say, I'm Jesus, and come back?
I believe he's going to come back in big fashion next.
Well, see, that is a good answer. But a big fashion, if somebody comes with big power, whatever else, it just still. Here's what we believe, and this is something, it's not in the Quran, but this is some of the scholars believe. A simple fact could be, and it makes sense. When Jesus comes in, very simple to know whether he is the real Jesus or not. Check his DNA. Nobody knew that before, right? When you check his DNA, you're not going to find him from the same thing. Immediately, science is going to prove it. He doesn't have those same chromosomes, the numbers and all that. And that would be when everybody believes in him.
But it's interesting that you're reading the Quran, I'm reading the Bible.
Right.
And I'm studying it and going by it. You're studying that and going by that.
Right, but it does tell us.
And we both think we're right.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that any of us wrong.
And then there's a third one, the
Torah. But the Quran, here's the
Quran is we accept the same God.
We accept the same God, but the Quran in this tested world that we are in, as we said that he sent us to be tested. Number one is he's testing all of us. Whether in the Quran says al-insan. Al-insan means human being. Most of the verses is to the human being, not to the Muslims, to everybody. So the message to everybody is that it says you must pray. That's a prerequisite, you know, to recognize you have a God and pray for him. That's you pray for him. You're not praying for yourself or anybody else. You're praying for God. So as long as you do that, that doesn't get you in heaven. See, this is different for us. It doesn't get you in heaven. That's prerequisite. You have to have that if you want to go in heaven. But what gets you in heaven is your good work, your good deed, doing the right thing, staying away from the bad thing. And the way he would judge you, he knows you're a sinner. He knows I'm a sinner. So whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or otherwise, he's going to judge. So you have your way because that's how you got Jesus. And so Jesus came from him. Moses came from him. Everybody else. That's not a problem to the point that as a Muslim, I can marry a Christian or a Jew, and they don't have to change their religion. If it was that he didn't accept, it means that he would have to ask, or the Quran would have to ask, or God would have to say, everybody has to be a Muslim. Well, that's not what the Quran says. He actually says, verses say, you can eat and, communicate with Christians, Jews. You can marry from them and respect their religion, respect your religion, just as long as you don't clash and say your religion is bad and his is bad, or don't fight over it. Just because it's the same message. The bottom line, the test came. Bottom line is not the religion. Religion is just, or those going to church or going to the mosque. Is that something between you? It's a way of life between you and God. How you pray, whether you're standing, whether you're sitting on a bench, whether you like we do, we bow and all that. At the end of the day, he came us with a set of rules how to pray. Came before and. However, they came out, the Christians, to say how we pray. The same thing with the Jews.
Yeah, we have the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Though we have one thing in common. we're going to do either right or wrong in this, which is the test place. This is the test place. So based on that, he's going to count all the goods you've done and all the bads you've done. And if your goods outweigh your bads, you're going to go to heaven.
I believe I've got some room.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You go to heaven. So
may
basically,
use
he
it.
knows you're going to, it's not like because you made a mistake or 10 or whatever. And he always asks for repentance. If you make a mistake, if you do wrong, if you have any sin, if you repent, but not done just a revolving door.
Yeah.
You repent truly, and you might make a mistake again. It's fine, but repent again. Just try to be to the right thing. Try to do the right thing. Some people have more will than others. It's that second part of that soul I talked to you about. May be overwhelming over the one that knows right from wrong. So that differentiate between me and you, that you might be more righteous than I am, or he is more righteous than you. And God allows for that, knowing he gave you the second one that always going to challenge the first one, which is the right from wrong. But he wants at least a minimum, at least to have more rights of you as a soul, joint soul. He puts it on both at the day of judgment. The one that knows right from wrong, why didn't it overcome a little bit of the want from the me guy or the me soul, and straighten it up a little bit, fought it for it, which we do. You and I, when we want to do something on time, we always have that challenge to say, should I do this or not? We know we're going to benefit from this world more by doing the less right thing. But that second part of us that would get us to say no. Even if I do less or I lose, I'm going to do the right thing. You know.
Have you read the Bible also?
Yes.
See, I've not read the Quran, so I've only read my belief.
Right.
You remember on Andy Griffith? You ever watch Andy Griffith?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
I mean,
I and my sons, we always when they were little,
Well,
and I still watch it now every now and then.
I'll
yes.
give you an example. I'm a big. I can remember about everything from that show.
Right.
But I remember they had a guest preacher came, and so they were all on the front porch, and Aunt Bee was trying to get Andy to, I forget, to be nice to the new preacher or something.
Right.
And he thought he was too long or too loud or something. And he said, Aunt Bee, we've been going to that church for all these years, and Reverend Tucker's been our preacher. He said, and I take with Reverend Tucker. In other words, he was going to stay with what he'd been taught.
Right.
He was going to stay. He said, I take with Reverend Tucker.
That's right.
So are people supposed to take from where they were raised, or are they supposed to hunt under every rock to find out the exact?
I don't have the answer for that, except for me personally, I can answer you. My opinion is that you don't take what the preacher say. You do not take what my imam say. You go to the textbook. You go to the Bible. I go to the Quran, and be patient and read it 100 times, 1,000 times till you know everything about it, about any subject of what you want to answer for. And when you do it over and over again, and try to see the exact words and all that, and what it meant by it, and look at it, for me, it's easy because we believe the Quran was not written by Muhammad. It came down over 23 years, verse by verse, through Gabriel on him, and it is the word of God. Even the text itself, every letter of it was created by God. Therefore, when we have a word, for example, a subject, let's say a subject, and say, okay, Jesus, okay? I don't go and take one verse of Jesus and accept whatever Imam tells me about him. I go to the 37 or 35, whatever verses of Jesus, and I read every which one of them, and I would know. That's how I define Jesus. When you look at all of it, because God knows the real truth, everything else. So I would know exactly what he meant by this. Any other word, let's say, for example, let's say, come up with a word. Tell me what a word there is.
Say forgiveness.
Forgiveness, okay? I would go and look at the word forgiveness, and it may be like 150 times in the Quran. And when I look at the common denominator of the general meaning of what forgiveness means, that defines what forgiveness means. And I'm going to believe in that. I'm not going to believe in what the Imam told me forgiveness.
Or one line.
Or one line. I don't. Because they're always biased. A human being is always biased.
Confirmation bias. What do they call it?
Yeah, confirmation bias. But also, they're also brainwashed over centuries and centuries. Whether it's a priest, whether it's a Imam, whether it's a rabbi. Brainwashed by, they don't dare to come and second guess what a bigger scholar in history or a religious person in history that came and explained the Quran or explained the Bible on those words of the Bible or the Quran, who said, who am I here? If I'm even a famous scholar or just basically a preacher or an imam that don't really accept, to a smaller, it's not somebody that's really create books and do all that and more into it. Who am I to come and second guess that? They wouldn't dare, because they would think that they're going off and away from the religion. They're teaching something that's not the religion. But the reality is, texts are the ones, and I believe the Bible goes the same way. If you would go to the Bible, even though if it's written by the disciples, still they were close enough to what Jesus did and said. They're gonna differentiate a little bit in what they say, but still the general idea, you probably will get the what I think would be the closest to the right based on that, because text is going to be the one, the judgment, not a human being telling you something in there that maybe has a bias in it one way or another, or even doesn't know. And I think I'm making a lot of imams and preachers probably upset if they ever hear it. But sorry,
well,
I have all the respect for them.
The Bible I read, seek and ye shall find.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I assume if we're seeking, we're going to find.
Right.
And me and you're both going to end up at the right place if we seek and
exactly.
find. Because I think you're genuine and I'm genuine.
Correct. But look at, not everybody got any of these, got Jesus or Moses or Muhammad as messengers or whatever. As a matter of fact, like China or a lot of other places, they, according to our books, they don't have a known messenger that was sent from God. What has happened? Does that mean those guys going to go the wrong place? Or see, the Quran has a view on that. The Quran says, we have sent to every nation and everyone a messenger. It doesn't have to be a messenger that actually the ones we know. It could be somebody that just had values. It's that basic right and wrong, like maybe in China, with the Buddha or whatever, whoever. He just sent him. Not necessarily he came with Gabriel on him.
Like the Indians.
Indians.
What they?
Different. They have different
Gandhi
things. Yeah. Now Gandhi's just a political guy, but they think the cow. A lot of Hindus think a lot of the cow is kind of sacred, but they have their own. They actually Hindu. They actually have in their own I guess statutes or something like that they
Gita, the Gita.
Yeah, that they have. Now, I don't know a whole lot. I don't claim it, but my understanding from friends of Indian friends that they do have God too, and they do pray to the God that they know.
That's the friends that I have. They pray to what they call as God.
Right.
But you take the Cherokee Indians before this is just in the history books. I don't know, but they prayed to what they thought was the Creator.
Right.
Even the Cherokee Indians.
But with all of that, and I'm glad you mentioned it. So what is the common denominator that's going to, for God to come and judge us by. It would be something that He gave us from day one, is that knowing right from wrong, doing the right thing,
Well,
staying away from the wrong thing. That's how, you look at the Bible, how full the Bible is of doing good Samaritan work and all the good stuff and stressing on that, and Jesus doing that,
To me, the Bible lays it out to where it's, we are sinful. He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to be the perfect sacrifice, to die for our sins. And through that, and so to me, it makes sense to me.
Right,
and that's the way
it's
I'm
fine, and it's fine, and I don't doubt that
I
at all.
take with Reverend Tucker.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But doesn't the Bible also tell you to do the right thing and stay away from the wrong thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now we may differ on this point, that you do have a carte blanche. Basically, is that you're a sinner, and you have something to lay back on that would save you, which is
grace,
the blood of Jesus.
Christ,
That He but at the same time, you're going to ignore what the Bible tells you to do right and stay away from wrong. You're not going to do that because if you're going to be just criminal all the time and do all that and just say, well, Jesus is going to save me. I don't know. It's maybe you would believe that, but it'd be hard for me to think that God is going to just put him in heaven when he killed 100 people, or if he's happened to be a leader of a country and killed millions of people, like what happened in World War II, caused that. And he's Christian. He said, well, Jesus would save me. That's a question that you and I cannot answer.
We can't answer, and it's hard to answer.
Yeah, it's hard to answer.
Yes,
we cannot answer.
Yeah, how could...
But here's the thing. You could do one thing. You could say, I'll be on the safe side. I'll do the right thing. If you do that, it doesn't matter which religion you have. Everybody, you're not hurting anybody. At least even the benefit of just being on earth, when everybody's peaceful and everybody is doing the right thing, not cheating the others and not wronging the others, that's a good recipe. Doesn't matter what you believe in.
No, it's a good life. It's like Starbucks selling the lifestyle. It worked. In other words, it's all of these things in these books. No matter which one they are, they're still good for a better way of life.
Right.
Neither one of us is in jail. We're not in prison.
Sure.
We're not, so, and that's because we've been trying to go by our beliefs, right?
That's right. And you will never change my beliefs as a Muslim, and I will never change your beliefs as a Christian.
Probably not in 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You won't.
Yeah.
And nor should I or you try to do that.
No.
It doesn't make sense, because really what we need, like we said, it's like me saying you got to eat hummus when you don't like hummus. It's just whatever you want. Eat what you want. That's way of life. Religion is a way of life. But it does make sense for your body and my body to, whatever you eat hummus, whatever eat something else, or vice versa, that whatever we're eating is not poison. It's something that's good for your body. It's going to keep your functions, and we don't have to eat the same thing.
The Bible says that Saul was killing the Christians, and God told him, Noah, he studied from a Bible scholar named I can't remember Gamaliel, and he asked Saul, he said, because he thought they were of a wrong religion and he was going to kill them, and he said, why are you killing them? Y'all are on the same team.
Right.
You just saw it different.
Well,
so that's what me and you're saying.
Yeah,
here.
To your point, and I can tell you, if I ask 99%, and probably the same thing with the view of the Christians and the Jews, you ask whether it's a scholar Muslim or just everyday Muslim like me and you, and you tell them that you believe in, that if you if you're not a Muslim, like if a Muslim change his religion to become non-Muslim, what does the Quran say? What Allah or God would do? And you know their answer would be,
Right.
and that's how the politicians after Prophet Muhammad, after he died, that's how they treated it, and did not look at the Quran closely, and they said he should be killed. Somebody, not a Christian, but a Muslim that became a Muslim, and he changed his mind and didn't become, even don't have to be to go to Christianity or anything, just he became infidel or whatever, then he should be killed.
Yeah.
That's how they say. That's how they think the Quran or the whatever. When we looked at and the recent scholars, the smart, very few of them, smart guys, and they went into the verses of the Quran, very clear. They can bring you the clear, and I'm going to send you actually
send me
the
that.
article with the verses in it. I'll text you that. It's a big article, really nice. It gives you idea of what the Quran thinks about a lot of things. So it's what they call apostasy or whatever. Is that what they call it? That when somebody gets, changes his religion or whatever, I think that's what they call it. I think it's called apostasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, which means you get out of your religion. Anyway, and when the Quran says in at least four verses that if a person changes his religion from Islam to something else, or even just got out, only God will punish him at the day of judgment, and he's free to do that. And also there's a verse say those people that they're Muslims and they become non-Muslims, they come back and become Muslims again, and they come back, those we and if they don't, if they end being non-Muslims, God would punish them at the day of judgment. Never said another human being to punish them. The fact that he said became Muslims and became non-Muslim and then it means the judgment was knowledgeably that when they became non-Muslim, they weren't killed. They were not killed, right?
Yeah.
So that it means that they were not killed, and the judgment from God isn't to kill them either. So, but if you come to even to tell most of the Muslims that without you sitting down with them and show them those verses, that all these thousands of scholars and all the thing they've been telling them and feeding them all that this should be killed, they're going to think you're crazy and you're not saying what
It's
God
just
wants.
like watching fake news today.
Exactly.
You just can't.
No,
You can't
that's
trust.
what I'm saying. Go back to the text.
Yeah.
The human being, whether anything that happens over time, when we hear from a human being, is open to mistakes. We're not saying somebody did it maliciously or something, but it's so. How do you avoid that? Go to the text
And pray.
And pray. Yeah, but I think the text, even the Bible, I think it will actually you get the right way, because at the end of the day, all religions or all books, we believe in the three books. We believe in the Quran. We have to believe in the Quran. We have to believe in the Bible, and we have to believe in the Torah. So, based on that, we're inclusive religion. We also in the Quran very clear, and that was implemented correctly. Though this, what I'm going to say, is implemented. It says that everybody can be a Muslim and should be treated the same, with no on earth, you have no slaves, you have no whatever, and then everybody, and we accept, and that's from, you're talking about from 1550 years ago, Islam came in, that in the eyes of God, it's about how righteous you are. So whether you're black, whether you're a woman, whether you're anything at all, any kind of human being, doesn't matter, color, race, whether you're Arab, whether you're
LTGB,
anybody that whatever is basically judged the same and accepted by his religion being Islam is accepted the same and should be treated the same with the same respect on a social status where you're living and all that. That is the most inclusive, very clearly, in that maybe I'm sure the Bible is the same. I'm sure, but basically there are verses that I know in the Quran very clear, and that was so clear that nobody even dared. However, everybody used it, or went away from it. Some people went away from that, not per so much in the color, because that was always, clear, and nobody ever abused that. Where it went wrong in the followers of Islam, when they, at some period after the Prophet passed away, they did go and invaded other countries like in North Africa and all that in the name of doing good. But that was not really, if you look at the text of the Quran, is not accepted. You don't force
That
religion
was
on
not
others.
part of.
That was political and economical.
And they don't need
That's
to.
political and economical. Just like you have.
In other words, don't judge your whole religion on a couple.
No, yeah, because those
or
people.
ours either.
Yeah, those people
Yeah.
did not follow the Quran.
No.
It was then. They were basically the empire at that time. There was the Roman Empire, and then when they defeated the Roman Empire by coming into Syria and Palestine and these areas and Turkey, that's when they became the empire, and just they didn't fear anything, and they just put everything in the name of religion. Went all the way to Spain, and occupied Spain for 800 years based on that, assuming that that's the right thing to do. But you look at that, when all the Muslims right now in the world of this area that they invaded, there may be only about total of no more than 500 million people. Okay, but Muslims are 1.6 billion, 1.7 billion. So what is the other billions? One that came in without any invading, whatever. They're in the Asia, Pakistan, even in India. There's 150 million.
Didn't they come through
150
Poland
million
too,
Indians.
son?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't. Those people knew Islam through trade. Muslims went into these places, brought goods and took goods, and they prayed there, of course, and then they got to learn the religion. Some people got to learn the religion. They liked it and entered into Islam, just like a lot of people enter into Christianity today or in the past, right? But it wasn't through invasion or wars or whatever. So what does that tell you? If 70% of the Muslims, went into Islam and believed in Islam without invasion, it means that it's the better way is to convince, because when you go and do that, you can't have somebody in their heart to become Christian, Muslim, or whatever by force.
It's very important that we are able to me believe this way, and you to believe that way.
Exactly.
And for somebody else to believe that way. Because when we don't have that ability, we may not always be in the majority.
Exactly.
And we have to allow everybody. That's why we cannot force religion on anybody, or they'll start forcing theirs on me.
Right, but we have a great country that allow us to do that. That's the main thing.
So
Separation
far.
of church.
So far, right?
And I think I'll say that way. Separation of church and
If we have to, we'll fight
States,
for it, right?
Yeah, that's right. But in the Quran, there's so many verses. I remember one now. It says, "Lakum dinukum waliya din." You have your religion and I have mine. That's exactly what it says.
That's right.
We can live together. You've got your religion, I've got mine. It doesn't ask, the Quran or the Islam, real Islam does not allow you. It does not force anybody. They don't, because forcing somebody, it's in the heart. How do you do that?
You
How do you do
can't
that?
do
You
that.
just feel that you're still not a
Yeah.
true Muslim when you do it out of fear, or true Christian, right? So
We know that from real estate. You can't force anybody to buy it.
Exactly.
Because they're going to back out before they get there.
Right. So that's when when I came here when I was 19, I didn't see a clash. People think you would see a clash of culture or a clash of you have a different world. I didn't
Not here.
because we believe. I mean, there are rules and laws here that try to do the right thing. We can't get about it, and it's these rules are based is what's best for the majority of whatever, for anything. So Islam thinks the same way. It's just right and wrong. And so the same rights that you have, the same rights I have, the same wrongs I have. I mean, it's known. The difference is that how I pray to my God and how you pray to the same God, and you call him something else, fine. But it's the same Creator.
In
So
other
that's
words,
fine.
as long as you're a Muslim and I'm Christian, we can stay that way.
Yeah, we can.
Because I'm not worried about you forcing me or me forcing
Exactly,
you.
exactly. And that should be the way. That should be.
Yeah.
That's how the.
And I guess we're on the same team.
We want the same thing.
The same God.
When we talk real estate, we want to do a deal. Religion comes in only in one thing. I don't cheat you, you don't cheat me. I don't lie to you, you don't lie to me. So it's just principles. That's really, if you were a Christian or you are, or I'm one that don't have any religion. I'm somebody that don't have any of what the religions we know. We just don't believe, I don't believe in any religion, and I deal with you. It's not a basis for you to cheat me. It's not a basis for you to, you're going to do the right deals, and we both benefit, and we go. I mean, that's
You
what it
could
is.
not be as successful as you've become without having integrity and being honest. You couldn't do it.
Well, nobody can, and it's that compass that I just explained earlier. Is just the soul that basically God put in every one of us, is to know right from wrong and feel guilty when we do wrong, and we don't do it again next time or make up for it. That's really what it's all about, basically.
I've got 4 pieces of property I want to show you
Okay.
offline.
Okay.
Hey, it's been great.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.